Kia ora, como está? Well, it's Saturday and haven't been doing much today, but reflecting on how lucky I am. And today I'd like to tell you about someone very special in my life. So there's a lady, her name is Barbara Kennedy. And Barbara Kennedy, she was born in Reefton in the year of 1944, and the world was still at war, one of the greatest wars ever known to mankind. And she was born on the 2nd of December 1944, and she lived a happy life with her father Jack Mulligan, who was a good man. He was a coal miner. He was also a builder, among other things, and a great man within the community. Her mother was Esma Mulligan, married to Jack, and between them they had 3 children. And they had John, who was the eldest and the loudest, and the most difficult probably for Esma and Jack to deal with, apart from Barb, of course, who was the second. And then Barb's younger brother, Peter. Unfortunately, John is not with us. He passed away at the age of 42, I believe. And Peter gets younger by the day, and he must be early 70s. And Barb, she just clocked over 76 this year, and is still fit and strong, which we're greatly thankful for. So Barb, in her late teens, had a great life in Reefton, hanging out with her brothers and hanging around with all the friends that people had in those days, because they didn't even really have television. They just certainly didn't have the internet. So if you wanted to do something social, you had to do it with people. So they had a great childhood, and she loved her horses, loved her town, loved the bush surrounding Reefton, and lived a good life. And then of course she met Michael Kennedy, and with Michael Kennedy, who she loved greatly, she produced 5 children. And the eldest was Sean, S-E-A-N, Sean James Kennedy, and he was born on the 25th of August 1967. Not long after that, Barb and Mike bought the house that would last throughout their entire time on earth together at 4 Dunn Street, Reefton. And they had myself as the second son, and then they had a bit of a breather, and then in 1977, actually the 3rd of January 1977, they had their first daughter, and that was Leslie Jane Kennedy, who now resides in Brisbane, Australia. So Leslie was a bit of a different path for them, their first daughter, and I know Mike wasn't sure whether he should be whacking her bum like he was whacking us or not, because she was a girl. And then that was quite, Leslie took it out of them. It was hard work, so they had a bit of a breather again, and 7 years later arrived Rory Joseph Thomas Kennedy, and he was born on the 23rd of March 1983. And it's a great joy to everyone, really. And when Rory was born, I was 14 years old, so it was fantastic to have a baby brother. And Rory was probably the easiest child, I would believe. He was pretty easygoing, didn't cause much trouble, and I know that it was at a good stage in Barb's life where she really enjoyed Rory as a young child. child. And so life was going pretty good. They had a bit of a breather. Then 7 years later came along Katie Jean Elizabeth Kennedy, and she was born on the 10th of August 1990. And that was a bit of a shock to the system, because Barb was no spring chicken. She was, I think she was about 44, not too sure, you might have to correct me on that, Barb. And Mike was a couple of years older than that, so I think he was at least 4 years older, was he? So he was 48. And I could have those wrong. Barb, you better put in the comments the exact gap between you and Mike. So Mike was 1941, 1st of April 1941, and you were 2nd of December 1944. So work that out. Well, anyway, so that was a bit of a shock to the system. Katie was pretty good as a baby, and then she became a beautiful flower, and she still resides with Barb today, and is a faithful companion to Barb. Anyway, the purpose of this Barbara Jean Kennedy is to let you know that all the aforementioned persons have been very grateful to have you in our lives, and not just the aforementioned persons. Actually, there's grandchildren who you have added to their experience in life, and although it's not always smooth, they all know that if they want a safe, happy place to go, Grandma Barb's place is the place to go. And I think that goes for all of us. And also want to let you know that you're loved very much, and you're also required. So we don't want any checking out. Oh, I'm 76, I'm getting old, might be time for me to go. No, sorry, Barb. We want you around for many years yet. And in fact, your own mother set the precedent by living to a ripe old age. I think she was 91, 92. So we expect you to exceed that, because you're a more modern woman. And we look forward to many more years of having you around. And I want you to tell you, and the rest of your children may not have made a video for YouTube like I have, but I believe I can speak on their behalf to say that you're not perfect, we're not perfect, the world's not perfect, but in our hearts we love you to bits, and we don't need to have Mother's Day to remind us of that, but it is a good time to remember your mother. So from me and the rest of your children, we do love you dearly, and we want to see you for many more Mother's Day, have you around, and we appreciate all that you and Dad done for us over the years of our lives, and we wish you happiness for the rest of your life. And we love you. We love you, Barb, so much. We love you, Mum, so much. And I know that we're lucky to have you, because, for example, the love of my life, Ainjel, her mum passed away last year, and she no longer has a mother, and so she's envious of the relationship that we have with you and that we have you. So we better make the most of it, and we better have a few more adventures together. And so happy Mother's Day. Angel's filming this, she's crying her eyes out. So happy Mother's Day, and love you heaps. Bye, Mom. Love ya.